The city of Samaria was surrounded by the Aramean army. No food could enter the city. Hunger spread everywhere, and people were losing hope. Samaria was suffering from a terrible famine. Food had become extremely expensive. The people were desperate. Then the prophet Elisha delivered a message from the Lord.
Hear the word of the Lord. About this time tomorrow, a measure of fine flour will sell for a shekel,
and 2 measures of barley for a shekel at the gate of Samaria. The king's officer doubts God. One of the king's officers heard Elisha's prophecy, but instead of believing God, he mocked the message.
Look, even if the Lord should open the windows of heaven, could this really happen? You will see it with your own eyes, but you will not eat any of it.
King Joram listened to the prophet's words. The city was starving, and the promise seemed impossible. Yet God was preparing a miracle greater than anyone could imagine. Outside the city gate sat 4 lepers. They were outcasts, separated from everyone else. The 4 lepers looked at one another and said,
"Why sit here until we die? If we stay here, we will starve. In the city there is no food. Let us go to the enemy camp."
So at twilight they set out toward the enemy camp. As the 4 lepers walked toward the camp, God was already working. The Lord caused the Aramean army to hear a mighty sound. To them, it sounded like an enormous army approaching. They heard chariots, they heard horses, they heard the march of countless soldiers. Aramean soldiers says, "The king of Israel has hired great armies against us. The Hittites are coming. The Egyptians are coming. Run for your lives!" The enemy flees. Panic swept through the camp. Soldiers abandoned their tents. They left behind food, gold, silver, clothing, horses, and supplies. In fear, they fled into the night. Yet there was no army, only 4 lepers walking quietly toward the camp. As evening darkness fell, the 4 lepers arrived. They expected soldiers. Instead, they found silence. The camp was completely empty. "Where is everyone? The camp is deserted." The lepers entered a tent. They found food and water. They ate and drank. Then they discovered silver, gold, and valuable clothing. They carried treasures away and hid them. Then they returned for more. Suddenly, one of the lepers stopped. "What we are doing is not right. This is a day of good news. We cannot keep it to ourselves." The 4 lepers hurried back to Samaria. They called to the gatekeepers and says, "We went to the Aramean camp. No one is there. The Lord has delivered us." The king sent messengers to investigate. They found the camp exactly as the lepers had described. The enemy was gone. Food and supplies filled the camp. The people rushed out. God had rescued his people. God used 4 unlikely men, men rejected by society, men who seemed weak and forgotten. Yet God used them to bring salvation to an entire city. For nothing is impossible with God.